are you trying to change?
I would like to change how women see themselves and to see these women that they feel great, that they feel empowered. That to me, I find so interesting. I mean, these women get all these bracelets, which I didn't get, by the way, because I'm married to a New Zealander and not to a Turkish one, so I didn't have a Turkish wedding.
Gel gel sarışınım gel, ben sana aşığım gel.
Okay, let's just start. Welcome to a new episode of the Bridging Podcast.
Tomorrow is going to happen whatever we do. Is it better to go into tomorrow trusting a voice, a practice, process, a way forward? Or is it better to go into tomorrow filled with fear and not believing the things that have gotten you here so far?
Create a new reality. I close my eyes and I will be there. I will dream it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bridging Podcast. I have a new guest here today. She is Aynur Abbott. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister, she's a wife. In 2014, I have met her when she was at the stage of quitting her job at a big publishing company in the Netherlands. So she was sales manager and she was managing 16 people in many accounts. So when I met her in 2014, she was visiting Istanbul, her parents that are living there. And she said to me that she decided to quit her job and start for herself. But, you know, she was searching what was she going to do. First, she started a web shop in Istanbul for 2 years, and then after 2 years she found actually what she wanted to do, and she started the Aynur Abbott Fine Jewelry line, a sustainable brand based in Amsterdam, but she's selling worldwide. And so when I met Aynur, you know, her whole company was in the child shoes, but now it's a big sustainable brand. And I have asked people, what do you think about Aynur? And they say this: she's loving, caring, generous, willing to help, really a girl boss, and she's going behind her dreams. Welcome, Aynur.
Thank you, Islam. What a nice introduction.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's so nice to be here actually in your showroom.
Yeah,
So we are in Aynur Abbott showroom in Amsterdam.
that's right.
So let me start with my first question, what does an entrepreneur mean to you?
I think an entrepreneur has several meanings, but what it means to me is it's a person who comes up with an idea or a concept, who builds the business around this concept, is responsible to take all the financial risks and has the aim to make profit.
Okay. Was that also your initial intention back in 2014 to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So in 2014, when I decided to leave my job, I really wanted to explore becoming an entrepreneur, so the opportunities. And my husband, Jay, he really supported me throughout that whole process. He said, okay, I know, take the time and explore the options that, you know, what you could do. And that's what I did, actually.
Okay. So when you look back at 2014, when you initially started the web shop based actually in Istanbul.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, you know, 2 years later, you started Aynur Abbott. Where was Aynur Abbott then?
Well, it started actually, like you just pointed out. I started in 2014. Turkey for me, because it's my roots. I've got two, and both of my parents are Turkish.
Yeah.
I'm born here in the Netherlands. And I always knew that Turkey would be a part of my business. That was something that I knew that was going to happen. So while exploring the options, I thought I'm gonna build a large e-commerce platform in Turkey, which I did. Which was very hard work. It was taking a lot of my energy, a lot of my time, a lot of money. And I think within a small year, I decided to pull the plug because it was actually not going anywhere, or it wasn't going the direction that I wanted it to go.
Right.
So for me, that 1 year wasn't a loss because I met so many people. I built my network in Turkey, and throughout that year, I actually came to the idea what I did wanted to do. And I think it started then that my own jewelry brand came to life.
Yeah. So I think it's a very interesting point that you point there. You say like, I don't see it as a loss. I see it as a learning point.
Yeah.
You know, many entrepreneurs I have met around me, you know, or people that would like to become entrepreneurs, they're also scared, like, if I start something, it might not work.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, some they might define it as I'm failing now because it doesn't work. And you say it was a learning for me.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, so in the beginning, it was when I made that decision I really wanted it to work so badly. I thought, okay, this is all the time that I put into it, the money that I put into it, the energy that I put into it. I thought I want it to work. It needs to work.
Yeah.
So when I came to the point with my husband to decide, okay, this is not going to work. We have to stop doing this. I really felt sad.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, this is, I thought this is my dream collapsing and I couldn't make it and I failed, like you say.
That's what you felt, right?
I felt in the beginning, yes, exactly. So that's what I felt in the beginning. But I think eventually when I pulled that plug and it gave me such a relief, okay, I made that decision, I followed through that decision. And then, because my husband kept saying to me, like, I just keep exploring, see what you got out of that trip, see what you got, out of your relationships. And then coming to that final point when I decided to launch my own brand, I thought, wow, that whole experience, that whole year of me going back and forth, talking to people, meeting new people, actually helped me so much to come to the point of me going for something that was really what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So the time, the effort, and the finances you put in there, it came actually back later on in what you're doing now.
Exactly.
So 2014, 2016, and actually 2017, 4 years ago, you started Ainur Abbott Fine Jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to then, where's Ainur Abbott now?
We're now, it's like you said, 4 years. And a half a year ago, during this whole Corona period, I decided to launch my 4th collection, which wasn't
during
easy.
the COVID.
Exactly.
Okay.
During COVID, I thought I'm gonna launch something new because I had the feeling that my customers were looking for newness.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't the easiest thing to do, but I did it. We focus heavily on the Dutch market because, of course, I'm born and raised here. Holland is it's my home country, so it's very important for me to have that focus here. We have online, we have physical retail partners throughout the Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, and France. And I'm aiming actually to expand also my business in the UK. And I would love to deepen my expansion with all the existing markets that I have at the moment.
Yes.
So if we look at product development, everything, we're growing. I'm really pleased about that. We're gonna launch very soon. We're gonna launch a sustainable project that I'm very excited about.
Yeah. Will you tell us a little bit about it in this episode?
Maybe, I'm not sure yet because it's all on
Maybe
paper.
we might get something.
Maybe.
Okay.
And if I'm also very grateful if I look at all the exposure that I'm getting in all the main magazines here in Holland. I'm just so grateful for that. And like I said, we're working on some new sustainable projects that I'm very excited about.
Okay, a few questions actually arise, and actually also a point. You said, like, during the COVID, you launched your newest collection. And I read an article about, a lot of entrepreneurs, people have businesses, they had a lot of losses during the COVID, due to everything was closed and all. But there were, like in Europe, you had these high-end restaurants. They were like, hey, no one is coming anymore. What are we going to do? So these high-end restaurants in New York started delivering these high-end experience home. And I thought, like, that's such an incredible thing. Like, you know, I'm not saying, by the way, every business can find something of, you know, trying to make it happen, but they got a totally different viewpoint. Do you think like the coronavirus, the pandemic, has also given you actually maybe a gift in terms of being more creative in your business?
Yes, I think one of the things, like what you're saying is so right, because you heard so many companies like, okay, they came with a very creative solution, how they could turn or switch their company. And I was also thinking like, okay, but what can I do then? Because we have two main channels, and that's our online, our own web shop, and our retail partners, of course. So what came actually, if I look back at the last year, what was born for Einar Abbott is our VIP one-on-one shopping service that I offer here in my office.
Okay.
And that is something that I didn't have before because, like I said, I have two main channels.
Yeah.
A lot of customers during that time asked me, can we come to your office? Can we have a look at your collection? Because not all my retail partners have the full collection. I have the full collection, of course. So that got me started thinking like, okay, how can I make this exclusive? How can I make this really special for my customers? And also they get to meet me, of course, the face behind the brand. And that's what they also really appreciate. And I like that. And then actually I sat down, I wrote things, okay, what can I do? How can I make it very special for them? What can I offer? And then actually this VIP service, one-on-one shopping with me, was born during this COVID period.
Does this mean like, you know, someone with a shop, like a business or a consumer can make an appointment with you? Is it like a business or a consumer?
It's a consumer.
Okay.
So what I noticed at a certain moment were that customers, of course, some of the customers, they shop online very easy.
Yeah.
But a few of them also don't. So because of all my retail partners, they were closed. We were in lockdown. I thought, okay, I can create a very nice atmosphere, a feeling, a special session for my customers who want to, that I help them and that I curate for them and that I advise them in the right pieces.
Yeah.
So it's purely consumers.
It's purely consumers.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get a really exclusive experience. When you are the host, actually you present the collection to them.
Exactly.
And they can look at it and try.
Yeah.
But for the ones that don't know your collection, I know your collection very well because this spring, I think it was in your first collection. I just want to show it there in the camera for the YouTube watchers. Like I got it from you actually. That was back in, I don't know, 2018 or 17, like the first collection.
Yeah.
Like I know your collection very well, but can you tell us a little bit about your collection? Like when you say fine jewelry, is it like gold, is it silver, or is it like?
Yeah. So what I started out was I made my collection 8 karat gold. I've now also introduced some 14 karat gold items. But also I have launched a capsule white gold collection, 14 karat. That also happened in the last year. So the idea actually is that when I did my research before I launched Einar Abbott Fine Jewelry, I noticed, I just did market research, right? So what is out there? And there was a lot of different materials, gold plated, silver, gold filled. And because, well, you and I are both Turkish, of course, from a young age, from a baby, you get real gold given to us.
Right, yeah.
So when I was at the age of 4, I can remember my father giving me my first golden bracelet. And I lost my bracelet within, I think, half a day. I lost it. I didn't know where I put it. And I couldn't really talk at that moment. So my parents, they were like, where is it? There was panic in the house. And then after a few days when we found it, I saw the relief at my parents. So I thought, this is something big. This is really emotional.
Was it the classic Burma bilezik?
Exactly.
The classic Burma bracelet.
Yeah, something similar like that.
Which is also actually, it costs something.
It is, of course. It's a valuable item.
Yeah.
And as you know, as a young age we get it, but then also during when women get married, they get stacked from here to here.
Yes.
They get given all these golden bracelets as an insurance, right? Which I find so interesting. I mean, these women get all these bracelets, which I didn't get, by the way, because I'm married to a New Zealander and not to a Turkish one, so I didn't have a Turkish wedding. But and for in times of need, or when they get in trouble, or their partner falls away, or they cannot rely on that person anymore, they have that insurance for themselves.
Yeah.
So that was for me very intriguing. That intrigued me that gold, real gold, is so valuable. It's not only emotional, but it also has a functional element to it. So that's when I actually decided I only wear gold. I actually want to make something for women and reintroduce to all these women to start wearing gold again.
Yeah.
And that's actually the story.
Yeah, but it's actually also so amazing that you started creating white gold, because I am this yellow gold girl. I like to wear only gold, no silver, no gold plated, which I was, I used to wear that when I was a student. I was wearing from fast fashion stores, and then I started wearing silver, gold on silver, and silver on gold. How do I say it? Gold on silver?
Gold on silver.
Gold on silver,
Yes.
and now only gold. But there are also a lot of women out there, they really like the color of silver.
Yeah.
But they might also like to wear the white gold.
Yeah.
So I heard you saying two things about your roots. At the beginning you said about, because you have Turkish roots, you want to do something in Istanbul, which you also went to Istanbul to start initially a business. And then you also said about I want to, that my Aynur Abbott jewelry was really also here in Amsterdam, based in Amsterdam. So how do you combine these two cultures, the Turkish and the Dutch, and actually also a little bit maybe the New Zealand culture, because you have a son which has a New Zealandic father and a Turkish Dutch mom.
Mm-hmm.
How do you combine these cultures back in the business you're running?
Well, I think first of all, I believe that I integrated also the Turkish roots, but also New Zealand in my first collections, and I keep on adding them to my collections because of, I think that makes it a bit different than what we already have. So, for example, if I'm talking about the collection, I've got the evil eye, I've got a mark, a stamp from the Ottoman period. I've got in my rings and bracelets. And then the New Zealand, like for example, I got inspired by all the green mountains and 50 shades, 100 shades of different kinds of greens when we go there on our holidays. And I wanted to integrate the green in my collection. So green is always, the color green is always a big part. You will always see it back in a collection. So I think those two I mix very well in my collections. If I look company-wise, I've got one foot in Turkey, of course, so that is always integrated in my business. But I also like working with Turkish people in my company. For example, now I've got one girl who's doing my customer service, and for me it doesn't really matter, she needs to be Turkish, but it's nice when Turkish girls also approach me and they want to come and work for me.
Yeah.
So I had this one girl, Ece, who approached me from Turkey. She lives in Antep and she really wanted to come to Holland. And she did an internship for 3 months here, and she also still works for me from Turkey. Those kinds of things I really like doing. And if I look at New Zealand, for example, I'm looking at options to really integrate the green Ponamo, the green stone, into my collection, and to keep also look into some new launches, what's happening over there, because I find it interesting to see how I can mix it in my business.
Do you think you are a great example for young, culturally diverse women out there? Like, for example, Ece, one that has approached you, and now the other customer service girl. Like, I can imagine, when I was in my 20s or late teenager time, I thought For example, there was this writer, Nil Gunjari. I thought, oh my God, she writes beautifully. You know, she was my example. I've never met her. I don't know her even, but I was like, if she can do this, I can do this too.
Yeah.
Or I should do it.
Exactly. Yeah, I think what I do notice, for example, I'm not mainly focused on a different. I focus on women in general. But what I do notice, of course, but I have the same when I'm seeing a Turkish woman launching something, I feel proud.
Yeah.
And I feel the same because I get quite some messages also from Turkish followers who say like, wow, it's so nice to see you in the magazines. It's so nice to see that you're working with some celebrities. So they feel a bit more proud, and I understand that. I have the same.
Yeah.
I have exactly the same.
So, you know, I, as someone that has seen you like firsthand, you know, because I saw you starting and I see where you are now, what I have noticed is like, you know, you started actually with no audience at all. And then you really built slowly, but very stable audience that people really reach out to you also because of you, not the products that you're having, but because of you. And also you said earlier about, you know, you are in different magazines. I also see it in, you know, the Young magazine and the other different magazines in the Netherlands, and maybe many people would like to have their products in these magazines. So if I know that there's not a secret, but what is the secret, the sauce of this? Like, what do you think is important for entrepreneurs that are listening to us now? If they want to be, if they want that their products are presented in some magazines or any other things, what is important for them? What kind of behavior should they show? Let's say the behavior, not what I do, but what is the attitude you need to have for this? Or what was the one you were having?
Yeah, good question. I think like you say, I'm very approachable for a lot of people. Me having a network already in the publishing industry, because that's my background. I worked there for so many years. Also connects, of course, with the people working already in the publishing industry. But one way or the other, I don't know what the word gunnen means in English, but it means they really want me to have that extra exposure, or they want to help me because they think Ainur is, you know, a nice woman. She has an amazing collection, because every woman who sees my collection or tries it on, they fall in love straight away. So I think that's also very important because they like what I make.
It's like you have like this charisma or something. I don't know, or I don't know what it is in English.
I think to explain it is that they want to help me to level up. They want to help me to grow.
Yeah.
And because they like me, for instance.
But why do you think they do that to you? Is that like because the way you look or the way you are, or what is that?
No, I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of who I am as a person. So like I said, I'm approachable. I don't want to say about myself all these nice things. I'm nice, you know. I'm friendly. And I've got a good sense of humor also. No, but I think it's the combination. I think it's also me as a person. I love connecting people, but I also easily connect with people. And the product, if I didn't have a product that they would like, or they didn't see anything in it or in the story, then I can be as nice as I want, but then it wouldn't work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do I understand right that you mean like it's a combination of things? Like the product should be really high level, very, very good product.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say that with my ring actually.
Yeah.
I'm wearing it daily for the past 4 years, I think. But also like you can be, you know, you can have the best product, but you maybe you're not an approachable person at all. You can maybe still work with someone next to you that is more approachable, because at the end it is a business with human beings, right?
Yeah.
No one wants to talk to someone that does not want to talk to you, for example.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I don't know if we have pointed this, but let me just ask it. If you look at Ainur Abbott Sustainable Fine Jewelry, gold, who is it for? What is it for? And most importantly, like this question to me, what are you trying to change?
Okay, so who's it for? I think, well, I believe I'm making my collections for women who stand for craftsmanship, who believe in timeless pieces, who are not into fast fashion jewelry, who like hearing the story behind the brand, behind each item that is made by somebody who sits behind it and he makes that ring. So I believe it's for those kind of women who really long or believe or appreciate what I just, pointed out. And that can be women who already believe in these things and who already appreciate it, but it can also be women who are on their journey, who are making that transition.
Right.
I believe also for the women who are willing to invest a bit more for quality items, because it's gold.
Yeah.
The prices are also a bit higher than the fast fashion jewelry brands, of course. And I think it's a two-way street. So they need to see the story, feel the story, understand the story, and then think like, okay, I'm willing to pay a bit more for quality, and then pass it on to, for example, my child or nieces or whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I think those are the women that I'm making it for. And if I look at the women wearing it, or when they put on the jewelry, to see with them that empowerment, to see that they feel so pretty, to see that they feel so secure about themselves, those are the women also that I'm seeing in my customer base. What I would like to change, that was yours.
So what you said, who is it for? And also a little bit, what is it for? You also told that. And what are you trying to change?
Okay, so what I'm trying to change, I'm not sure if there are two things, I think, if I hear this question. I would like to change how women see themselves, because if I see customers here and they try some of my jewelry on, these are women that only have been wearing a wedding ring or engagement ring for the whole life.
Yeah.
And then
except the ones that are not married.
Exactly, except the ones that are not married.
I'm not married.
These are also occasional women who say to me like, I've only been wearing this for 45 years. So when I try on some of my pieces, they fall in love. They go like, oh my God, this is amazing. I never want to wear something else. I can combine it, because I think that's really a strength, to combine it with what you already have. So, and to see these women, that they feel great, that they feel empowered, that to me is really, okay, that's something that I'm changing. I'm seeing what my jewelry, what kind of impact it has on them. And that really is for me the biggest compliment I can have as a head of a design of Ainur Abbott. And another thing that I would like to change, and what I'm also trying to put in my communication, is really, I hope to inspire women to ask a bit more questions about the products that they're buying. Because I think 80% of my customers, they don't know what kind of material their jewelry is made from.
Yeah.
So when I ask them what is it made of? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just bought it.
Maybe brass or gold or silver.
Exactly. They just don't know. Yeah. And that is quite a shock to me, but I also understand it partially, because maybe they got given a present and you're not going to ask, what is this made of? And what did you give me? But most of them actually buy also, a jewelry piece without even asking, hey, where's it made from? And what's the material? And just to find out a bit more. So I'm hoping to change. I'm hoping actually to inspire women and men maybe also to ask a bit more, to find out, hey, okay, I'm asking a few questions. Does it fit you? Does the story of that brand fit you? Then buy it. It doesn't matter what it is, but if it fits with you, then go for it. And I think I want to help changing that a bit more.
But I heard you saying, maybe also men. Are you thinking about creating a men collection, or are there, now especially in those times, where gender is such a big topic, like, big topic, what do you want to be approached by, her and she or he or him?
Yeah.
Is your jewelry also for men? And the second question is, are you considering to create also a male collection?
Yeah. Well, the jewelry is made for women.
Yeah.
That's how I designed every piece. And yes, during that whole period, I've got some statement pieces like the signet rings that I also made for men, because if I made a model for them, they liked the model that I had, the design, and then they asked me, can you make it also for a male, which I did a few times. And that also, of course, got me wondering, do I want to make something, maybe a small capsule collection for men?
Yeah.
So that is, with pencil, I've written that one down. Because as a brand, I also don't want to do too much too fast. I really want to focus on my collections that I have now. I really want to learn as much as I can and not have too many collections coming out at once, because that feels for me again as a bit of a fast fashion brand. So also the collections that I make that are small, that I add to the collection, that's why for the man collection I wrote it down with pencil, because I thought that could be something interesting for in the future.
Yeah.
Men, what I referred to actually was also, I have a lot of male customers coming in because they've been pointed out by their wives saying, you have to go to Einor Abbott and this is where you need to go. So lately I've been receiving so many male customers that approach me to buy something for their wives, and it's, for men, I notice so much easier because they come back the second and the third time because they enjoy the service. They see that they made their wives very happy. So that's why I said, like, also with those one-on-one shoppings, men are also always a part of that shopping experience together with their wives.
Yeah. So I hear you saying you get very happy when you see women be empowered. I hear you also saying, like, when a male would ask you, like, hey, I like this ring, can you make it also for me, that you also do that? Like, is it right that you actually listen very, very well to the feedback of the market, of the people, the end consumer?
Yes, so when I first started out at USM, that's one of the main things. I did a product market research fit to see what I'm gonna launch. Is there people need it? Are they waiting for it? Are they willing to pay for it? And also during this whole period of 4 years, the one thing that I noticed is when I have my customers here in my office, I always speak to them. I always ask them, how did everything go? Did you like it? Do you like the service? Do you like the product? Are there things that you would like us to change? Can we add something? And of course, I won't take as a business owner everything on board, but when I hear a few men asking me, hey, can you also make a meal? It would be so nice because there's so little out there. Like I said, I write it down and I'm starting to think about that. Children, same.
Yeah.
There are some people asking me, can you make something for children? I also write it down because I'm thinking, okay, that could be something maybe interesting for the future, but not guaranteed. So feedback that I get, also about the product quality, of course. When I hear something, when it's about the quality of the product, I will try to fix it ASAP because I find that very important.
Yeah. So how do you find the right balance between receiving feedback on a business level, but also receiving maybe personal feedback? Because I can also imagine, like, especially when you come out with your first collection, and then someone says, like, hey, it's this ring, I don't know. Maybe this stone, maybe that, or whatever. Like, I can also, like, because it's kind of a baby you have created, it would feel like that for me. And then someone says, I don't like it, not in this direct way, but in a different way. Like, how do you balance between, this feedback is so precious. I should actually use it to improve my business. And this feedback, it kind of touches and triggers me in a way.
Yeah, tough one is because, of course, when you show your collection, for example, to your friends and they give you feedback on something, that it gets personal. That's how I feel it, of course, because I'm thinking, what do you know about making jewelry? And that person doesn't know. But I think after all these years now, 4 years of doing this, I'm so sure about myself. I can really say like, yeah, but this is a choice that I made because I believe that what I make a lot of women happy with. But I do understand the feedback because it's something personal. You look at something, you think, why didn't you do a white diamond? Why didn't you do a black diamond? Or why did you make this rounder? And I think it's also the intention what you can feel with that other person. So if I feel that intention is really just innocent and just trying to help me with something, I think that makes a lot of difference. You can still feel a bit maybe hurt, or you can feel something, but I think eventually that will pass and go like, okay, that person didn't mean it, like their intention was okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. Also with customers, for example, to take on their feedback, you have to just take it very lightly. If I can imagine, for example, if I talk to somebody and, for example, they don't find the service well enough, if I look back and take a step back and think, but my service is actually quite good because I know for a fact 100% that what I'm doing, then that could be just that person.
It's a perception.
Right. So I think what you're also trying with the personal stuff, I can take things a bit more personal because I'm also the face of the brand and I'm putting myself out there. We do that as a brand. I really opted for that choice to make it more authentic, to make it more personal.
Mm-hmm.
So if I would hear something, that does come into okay, take
like a knife stepping in
exactly. But like I said, I think the intention leads.
Yeah. So I actually would like to share a very personal story with the listener. Actually a little bit about it. Like when Ainhoa made her second collection, maybe, I don't know, one of the collections, she was super vulnerable, and I was at their place, and then she says like, hey, I made this, super excited, and I saw a few of the pieces, so I was privileged to see it. And then and I had this feedback, which was definitely not precious, but I was the one maybe like, maybe this stone, maybe that, this and that. And at that moment of time, I didn't have my own company. I was working for someone. And I created things, but I never put it out there for people. Later on, I realized when I started my own thing, when I put my book out there, when I put my podcast out there and all these other things, and then people were giving me feedback of like, oh yeah, but this and this and that, I felt so, not with one knife, but many knives like attacked everywhere. And then I actually also started seeing it as a journey of like, hey, I need to just actually learn to deal with feedback, which is actually triggering me in a way. But also I came to realize, for me at least, I'm very, very open for people that give me feedback, that have walked the talk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm also like, oh yeah, I know you have been also through maybe a jewelry line or any other thing. And I'm very open to that. But when someone gives me feedback which has not been in the arena, as Brene Brown would say, I'm a little bit hesitant to take it. Yeah. But also I started being more open, like, it can be actually a great objective view, but still a little bit difficult to...
But if I look at you, I find you one of the few persons that I know in my surroundings that is open for feedback, and even though it could be painful, and even though you still you swallow and you think, okay, I'm gonna do something, if you want to do something with it, right? So, and you ask also for the feedback, and I find that very courageous, that you ask for somebody's feedback. So you also choose, even if you would ask it from me, for example, you've thought about it. You thought, okay, I'm gonna ask it, and it might be painful, but I am gonna ask it.
Yeah.
And I think that is very strong and very powerful.
Thank you for this. One of my friends in Istanbul said, you like pain or something? You feel like you like pain, but somehow I am like, okay, it's gonna hurt, but I know then what I can do to make it better. And if you do not go through that pain, sometimes there's no involvement in it.
Yeah.
So back to your jewelry, especially in an industry where looks are important. Now, I don't know exactly if you are let's say the fashion industry. I love fashion. I love wearing nice clothes. I love wearing jewelry. And I used to think, maybe 10 years ago, that it is a very superficial industry. I also worked in the fashion later in Denmark, which I really loved. And I thought in this industry, there's not really room for spirituality, personal growth. It's all about how we look. That was the way I was thinking. And when I see your brand, especially your last campaign, it's about I am. Like, I am courageous. I am a woman. I am sexy. I am caring. I am loving. It's all I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it very inspirational. And, spirituality can be defined. It's a very abstract thing. You can define it different ways, but I feel like it is very authentic and genuine. So is this true? One. And the second question is actually, do you do this deliberately?
Yeah, so thanks for complimenting me first, Özlem, on that. I think trying to educate yourself and self-development is very important, no matter if you're an entrepreneur or not. It should be, everybody should be doing that. That's what I believe. My husband, Jay, has been doing self-development, I think, for almost 20 years now. Which 10 years of that I really resisted, because I was like, what is he doing? What is he talking about? And I really didn't understand it. And I think if I look at our last 10 years, I joined him on this journey. So we're doing courses together, we're doing trainings together. We have our friends over, as you also know, actually trying to level ourselves up, make a better version of ourselves. And I think it's not easy because, we're human and we make our mistakes and we have our habits. But for me to make that choice that I want to develop myself on that level, I think gives me I can run a happier life and run a happier business, right? So it is a very deliberate choice. And you also inspire me on that level a lot. One of the few who do that. And Jay also does that. So I think I just become a better person for it. That's what I truly believe. And I can see that also in my business, that the more I work on myself, the less I take things personal, the less I get upset with certain things. I let go of certain things quicker. So it's a deliberate choice.
How is the reaction of the audience on this?
If I see that a lot of my followers do understand what I'm posting, and it could be a quote of Eckhart Tolle, or it could be anything that resonates with me at that moment. So then I would like to share that. And if I look at how many things are already on social media also being done by others, I think, it's getting more and more, people are getting more and more used to it. Of course, there's a bunch maybe that could think like how I was resistant to it for 10 years. I mean, that's a long time, having resistant to it.
Especially living with someone in the same house that is doing it actively daily.
Exactly. And I think now, because we're both doing that journey or following that journey makes us understand each other a bit more. But that's why also our friendship, of course, is a lot more deeper and meaningful, because we can be open about certain things that I cannot be with too many people. So I think it's also a gift. And I really appreciate that, and I hope to have more of the. I think as a brand, for me, it's what I am, it's what I do, and it's part of the business also.
So, I hear already listeners thinking like, hey, but you talk about self-development now. What do you mean exactly? Like, what does it mean to you? Like self-development, is that like meditating or something, or is that taking personal responsibility? How does it look like for you?
Well, I think it's a more it's a combination of things. For example, now the last 5 to 6 weeks, I think I've been reading the book Miracle Morning.
Paul Arrow.
Exactly, and I love reading that book. I mean, I'm rereading it now for I think the 4th time, and every time I'm bumping into stuff again, I'm thinking, hey, this is great. This is it resonates with me on a different level. So I get up an hour earlier than I normally do, and I meditate, I exercise, I write, I visualize, I do writing, I said that already, the exercising I also said, and it makes me feel so much better to start my day, and I think that is something that I would like to do for a very long time. And I think also is then to become a better person or a version of yourself is also business-wise leveling up, also having the energy to work by yourself, to be motivated on a daily basis.
There's no one waiting for you. There's no boss, colleague, or someone. Maybe if you have meetings and all, like waiting for you to start 8:30, you really need to start yourself the day. I can choose to sleep until 12 almost every day. But I need to. I'm getting out. I'm gonna do my morning routine, go for a run, and start.
Yeah, exactly. So that helps on that level tremendously. So that's why I think that self-development should be a part, and it's not easy. You and I talk about this quite a bit. And but I hope to make it even a bigger part of myself, and also, like I said, not to try to take things not too personal, be upset about certain things, cause friction with others, but to just live deliberately and to choose deliberately.
Yeah. So also to give an example to the listener, I have been on different courses, and what we actually have learned and what we also work on applying it, really taking personal responsibility. Like we talk here very nicely, but we of course had also moments that I thought or she thought Özlem, but at that moment we actually really learned like what is going in us that is actually triggering that reaction that we are showing. So instead of you have been this, it was like, okay, Özlem, what do I feel? Did I react like, or the opposite I did? So I really appreciate, and I'm very, very grateful for this friendship in this way.
Too.
Thank you so much.
Me too.
So going back to your business for a moment, and maybe we can do, by the way, another episode about self-development later on. I think we might do it maybe. So with the knowledge that you're having now, 4 years later, you started iRabbit, would there be something that you would do different than what you did 4 years ago or along the way?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I would do something different, but what I've learned along the way, for example, what I just told you about being by yourself and finding that right motivation, I did struggle in the beginning a lot, and I sometimes still struggle because I feel less motivated during the day, or I feel that I could be more motivated if I'm working with somebody closely. And these are all things that I've been going through for 4 years already. So the first year was a big surprise for me, that I thought, why don't I feel that energy, that passion, that drive that I would feel when I was working at that publishing company? and I was sitting at home working behind my laptop, and I thought, should I do a nap or should I do the washing? And I thought, what is going on with me? Where is that Ainur that I know from running around and going from one meeting to another? And then it took me quite a while to realize that I actually am not a person that can work by myself on my own and get motivated and be motivated the whole time. I can be motivated for a day, but then the second day it goes off again. So that's what I realized after somebody pointed that out to me by saying, I think you need to gather a team around you. Because I like brainstorming with people. I like having, feel the energy of somebody and to talk about certain things and maybe even get acknowledged.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm thinking about this and that. Hey, great idea. That gives you again that positive energy. So, yeah, I think maybe starting off a bit earlier with somebody and having maybe a business partner in a younger, earlier stage could be something that I would advise somebody to say, like, okay, are you sure as a woman you want to do it alone? Do you know for sure that you can work by yourself? Because I never worked at home in that time. As a manager, I was going from one meeting to another, so my team members could work from home, but I never experienced working from home. So for me, that was a big, big difference. I think nowadays, of course, because of Corona, a lot of people worked from home. They now have the experience, they're quite skilled in it. But still you hear a lot of people say, I would rather go to the office to be around colleagues. And honestly, I also like that myself.
Yeah.
A lot better than to sit alone. So I think that's one of the things that maybe I would have done differently.
Okay. We are coming to an end almost, and I have two last questions. You have built the company from scratch. A lot of learning experience. You did not give up after 2 years of the web shop. You started the Ainur Abbott line, the fine jewelry, and you are now in all these different magazines you sell worldwide. So where can people find you? If they want to watch these videos of the craftsman, if you want to try your jewelry, and if they want to buy it, if they want to follow you as inspiration.
Yeah. Well, first of all, they can follow me, of course, on my Instagram, Ainur Abbott Fine Jewelry.
We will put it in the episode notes.
Yeah. And they can find the collection. If they just want to have a browse, try it on, and maybe also buy it, they can do that at our retail partners that are throughout the Netherlands and Belgium.
Is there one big retail partner you would like to name here?
Yeah, well, we're working together with the Selfridges group, which is the Bijenkorf called here in the Netherlands. So we're in all 7 of their locations throughout the Netherlands, and of course online also. And if you want to choose a few more items because you need a new, smaller collection, then you can email me for that VIP service, one-on-one shopping.
How about if someone from the US is listening now? Can she plan a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, we can also do a virtual meeting, definitely. Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Cool. So we'll put all the details in the episode notes. Before I ask my last question about this special project, will you tell us something? Or maybe, a little teaser?
What I could tell that as a brand, and like I said, because it's gold, I would like to offer my customers a special service, and it has to do with a circular economy. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now.
Okay.
Not a lot.
Economy.
Yeah.
A special offer to your customers
who already bought an Ainur Abbott piece.
Okay, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Okay. So my last question, the Bridging podcast is about taking the listener on a bridge. We really like exploring different viewpoints. If you could take the listener on a bridge with you, where would that be? Sometimes to a familiar place and sometimes to a very new place.
Yeah, I find that quite difficult, but I think what I would like to take them to the bridge to Istanbul, for example. I would like to show them my atelier. I would like to show them where it's all been made, where it's been born actually, where the whole idea came from. that's something that I would like to show maybe in the near future, the people that I'm working with, because I'm working with true craftsmen, people that have been in this industry for 40 years. They're very special people. That's something that I would like to take them on.
Nice, on the Bosphorus Bridge.
Yes,
Oh,
on the Bosphorus
beautiful.
Bridge.
I want to come with you to that bridge.
Deal.
Thank you so much, I, for coming
Thanks,
to the
Us.
Bridging Podcast.
Thank you.
And thanks so much for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.